Over the years, we have done a lot of open courts on NBA TV, but this one is going to be a lot different. Hello, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. Welcome to Open Court at Home, which is the way we're all
in this video
really forced to do business these days, and especially in the business that we are in. But we're going to talk about the coronavirus, the impact on the NBA, and we've got an esteemed panel to join us here on NBA TV. Charles Barkley joins us from Phoenix. Chris Webber in Georgia. Dwayne Wade's out there on the West Coast in California. And Isaiah Thomas joining us from New York State. Guys, thank you. And you know what's amazing? As we see Charles momentarily disappear and then come back.
Hey, Charles, how you doing, man?
Hey, Isaiah. How you doing? It's great to see you, Isaiah. Hey,
No,
I'm
please.
just glad to see other people.
You know Charles probably been having a good time in his man cave, watching all his shows, catching up.
Chilling.
That's probably why he's chilling right now.
Hey, you know, see, Webb, I found out that Exotic Joe and Shaq were really good friends. So it's been a really great quarantine for me.
Guys, well done. Everybody's got the headphones. We can see everybody. I want to start going back basically a month.
All right, we've got breaking news. The NBA has just announced that the season is going to be suspended.
They don't know if or when the season is going to be able to start again.
We will see more cases and things will get worse than they are right now.
The night after Adam Silver said that the league had suspended play, we were supposed to have a doubleheader on TNT, and instead we just had an hour pregame show with no games to talk about. As I was getting ready to go on the air, I looked at the chart on the internet and saw that the coronavirus had claimed 40 lives in the United States. That was back on March 12th. And here we are basically a month later. Charles, when we did that show a month ago, the show that I referenced, you were being tested. Tell me what that was. Tell me what that whole process was like, and the 10-day wait you had to find out if you had it or not.
The test itself is very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But it took them 10 days.
Why is it uncomfortable?
Well, it's like a 12-inch Q-tip, and they have to stick it to the back of your nose and dig around.
Okay, well, that tells me why it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. Like everybody says, they're trying to find a different way, but it's like a 12-inch Q-tip, and they just can't stick it in your nose. They have to get it in the back of your nasal cavity, so it's very uncomfortable. But the thing that was weird for me, it took them 10 days to get my results back. I felt good, actually, 2 days later. I think I was just tired and ran down. But I stayed in my condo for 10 days, and that was wow.
D. Wade, when this whole thing started, did you think a month later you'd be sitting here, we'd be looking at numbers like this? Or, I mean, what did you expect?
I mean, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say when I first heard about it, I didn't take it as serious as I should have, because just not knowing really what it was going to become. And I think once it started, to become real and you started to hear about the lives being lost, it changed your mindset. I was headed to Jamaica for my sister's wedding, and I had to turn around and go back home, and I couldn't make my sister's wedding because, we knew it was serious, and we had to get back and get our family prepared for this lockdown.
C. Webb, same question.
I was lucky that my parents were in town, my family, we were all together, and so I took it seriously out the gate because we had older people in the home, and then I have 2 3-year-olds. And so for me, it was just practicing caution and then talking to people, especially not necessarily first responders, but I have nurses in the family and things like that. And they kind of spoke of what was to come. It's terrible to hear that D. Wade missed his sister's wedding and some things that, for family that I had to miss. But it's a sacrifice, and I'm glad that, for those people that are sacrificing, that they're here, and hopefully we'll be able to share some really good times when we come out of this.
And obviously, Isaiah, we're all going through something that, look, there was no playbook that came with this that says, here's how you handle it, here's what you do next. We're all kind of just seeing and reacting. How have you handled this?
It's been a very interesting time for myself and my family. My daughter was diagnosed with the virus, and she tested positive. And for us and for me and our family, it was, you just didn't know. You didn't know what was coming next, and you didn't know how to really how to deal with it, or how to process it, or understand. And also everybody was trying to find out where to get the right information from. And fortunately enough, my daughter, she was very proactive in the situation, and she's been in basically isolated now for almost 30 days, waiting now to see if she's negative and can we be around her. And this is the longest period of time where we haven't had any physical contact with our daughter.
Isaiah, you're saying it's been 30 days?
Yeah, it's been 30 days because she's in New York and waiting for her negative test to come back. And once that comes back, then hopefully we can all get together. It's been a very, very difficult time for the family, but it's also been an inspirational and positive time because we found a way to all come together around this situation and support her. But in giving her support, we've reconnected also. But to her credit, she gets up every morning and she gives us the thumb up sign on the group chat. Then she puts the hearts and a smile, and
so she's
she
feeling
goes at
pretty
it.
good. She's
on the other.
Okay.
She's on the other side of it now. She was able to basically fight it out on her own in her own apartment.
Isaiah, I can't even comprehend, as a parent, what you were going through with that. So, man, that brings it home without question. How have you adjusted, guys? I'm just throwing it out there for all of you. How have you adjusted to this new kind of rhythm to life and not traveling, not watching sports? See, Webb, now you've got like full-time 3-year-old duty. How's that?
I'm getting paid back for all the days I got to be at the hotel and call and FaceTime and check on them. It's a lot of So first of all, it's terrible what's going on, and we all recognize that. And then to look at the other side of it, and not to forget that, but to look at the other side, for me, I was talking to my father the other day. I think probably since 14, I've never had these months off. And so for me, I'm just trying to reconnect with family, make sure that I spend time with my son and my daughter. But for the most part, I've not worked out because with family here, it's been some of the best eating I've had, and I probably gained seriously 20 pounds. So I need to focus, EJ, and start working out. I said I'm going to do it this Monday coming up, but that's what I said last Monday. So trying to get it together too.
You're getting some knowing chuckles from D. Wade as if all of this sounds very familiar, D.
Yeah, I mean, the workout part especially. I was telling you guys beforehand, I had an injury, my third injury in quarantine already. Further lets me know that my retirement decision was right on time. Non-contact injuries. I strained my calf running on the treadmill yesterday, trying to, not gain that 15 to 20 pounds. Yeah, on the treadmill.
You got to say that loud. Say it loud.
He was going 5.2. He wasn't even up to 7. It was 5.2.
Listen, I put it up 0.5, and it just went to another level and blew my calf out. So, what was crazy about yesterday, yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of my last home game in Miami. So I was feeling like, I was feeling away. So I was like, let me go in there and really let me get out of it. And I proved myself right. I retired at the right time. So
So it's like the anniversary of you trying to jump on the scorer's table?
Let's try again. Let's do it this way.
I didn't want to bring that up, but thank you, Ernie. I was trying to walk around that, but I appreciate you bringing that up. But to Chris's point, I think for all of us, what's been great out of this is the reconnection with our families. I've said this on multiple occasions: is my family is getting an opportunity to know me in a way that they've never been able to. And me the same way. I think for me, it's been cool to be able to do the things that I've always put to the side. I said, hey, I want to paint, and I never found time to do it. So now I have time to do things, and I'm painting, and I'm doing all the things with my kids and my family that I've wanted to inside of our home. But at the same time, understanding what's going on in the world and trying to make sure that we're there for individuals that are going through way tougher times than we are.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've tried to do, or we've tried to do in our family, Cheryl Ann and I, is, when you're raising kids, you're always trying to tell them, look, don't focus on what you don't have, or what the other kid down the block has. Appreciate what you do have. And at the same time, we're kind of looking at this saying, let's not focus on what we can't do. Let's focus on the things that we are able to do and enjoy those as much as we possibly can, even though as a grandfather, I can't see my grandkids now. And that hurts. But we're all sacrificing. We're all giving up a lot of things. But doing so, knowing that by doing that maybe we're flattening that curve. Chuckster, I find it very interesting and probably inspiring for Isaiah, Chris, and Dwayne, if you would share your new regimen with them.
Well, number one, Ernie, I talked to your grandkids. They didn't want to see you anyway, just for the record.
Why you do me like that?
I love you, Ernie. Hey, Ernie, when this thing started, I had to take a good look at myself. I said, I got to work out. I got to do something. So I bought myself one of these big fat tire bikes, and I've been riding every day for a minimum of an hour. You know me, I drink 5 to 7 Diet Cokes every night we're on television. Number one, I want to quit the Diet Cokes, and I wanted to make sure I don't drink every single day, because I like it. But I said, hey, Chuck, you can only drink on Friday and Saturday.
I was going to ask if you could widen out that shot on your camera so we could see if there were any beverages around there already.
Ernie, let me tell you something. I'm sitting right beside my bar, and it's loaded.
We're glad that you're not. Isaiah.
That's why I got the camera facing the other way.
Okay. Isaiah, what has it been like for you?
We plan our whole day basically around the 4 o'clock hour when we get a chance to see Lauren, to be able to FaceTime with her and have her come into the chat room that we have with when my son is DJing for the family.
We're rocking now. We're rocking now.
Just trying to, stay positive, for the family, trying to stay positive as the leader of the family, as the father of the family, and, for so many other, friends in the community.
Love you, Dad. Love you too.
Also running a business, we have employees, and a lot of our employees are, pretty young, and they have bills to pay. They were pretty nervous, so you want to make sure that they're all right. You're working with, the SBAs, the government, so forth and so on. Just trying to make sure that everyone has the right information and that everybody's getting paid, everybody's doing okay, and everybody's making it through this difficult time.
Well said and well done. You're watching Open Court at home here on NBA TV, and what we want to do as we take breaks during this show is salute some of those who are on the front line. And we have a number of Turner Sports employees who have friends and family who are right in the middle of this fight against the coronavirus. So we want to spotlight some of them as we go to break. Guys like Mike DeWolf, Sports Insight and Data Strategy. His aunt, Karen Hogan, has been working on the front lines at Boston Medical Center. There's Mark Hirschner, Senior Manager of Technical Operations, whose wife Diane is a nurse at Northside Hospital in Atlanta. Malum Legan, Director of Strategy and Business Development. His brother Michael is a doctor. His brother-in-law, Anthony Morgan, is a nurse. His sister, Michelle Morgan, is a social worker. Tyler Makins, Turner Sports production assistant. His mom, Lori, works in patient registration. Catherine Harris, the operations manager of March Madness Live. Her uncle, Dr. Steve Koenig, is an ICU doctor. Her cousin, Dr. Michael Koenig, is a medical resident at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Judy Evans, Turner Sports executive assistant. Her cousin, Tanya Williams, is an LPN at Womack Army Hospital. David Owansky is senior research director. His friend, Dr. Anurag Sahu, is director of the coronary care unit at Emory University Hospital. And Ben Spitalnik, Turner Sports Director of Talent Services. His wife, Nicole, a pediatric nurse practitioner at Northside Hospital. We thank all of those people for their service, and we'll be back.
Essentially, what I've told my folks over the last week is that we should just accept that at least for the month of April, we won't be in a position to make any decisions. And I don't think that necessarily means on May 1st we will be, but at least I think just to settle everyone down a little bit, it doesn't mean that internally, both the league and in discussions with our players and the teams, we aren't looking at many different scenarios for restarting the season. But I think it honestly is just too early, given what's happening right now, to be even able to project or predict where we'll be in a few weeks.
That was Commissioner Adam Silver as part of an interview series that we call #NBA Together. And again, he was on that show a month ago, and there was so much uncertainty. Dwyane, when you see a season that has been short-circuited at this point, do you, in your gut, feel like we're going to see basketball?
Well, I believe we all are positive that we will, right? We need something to look forward to. Sports is something that brings, everyone together. One thing that concerns me about, if we do have a season with the NBA, are they going to try to rush the season to get to the playoffs? And what concerns me is the injuries. One thing that Adam Silver has really focused on the last few years when he limited back-to-backs was to limit, injuries, especially to, the star players were getting injured a lot, but we all have hope.
If I could throw something maybe out to you guys, if the season is lost, it seems like this could be a good time to reset. So you had guys saying that maybe they want to play less games. Maybe it goes down to 70. Would you guys be in favor of maybe resetting some of the rules so that it don't have to be an asterisk, so it doesn't have to be anything, but we can say kind of before this time, this is what it was when Wilt had 50 games, they played 82 games, and now we can say, okay, now this generation or whatever's next, kind of implement the rules and bring them in.
One of the reasons we got the best commissioner in sports is I think Adam, what he said is perfect. Let's reset May the 1st. April is clearly gone. You might have to cancel the season, Chris. But I have always been a proponent that we should play 75 or 70 games. We should not start to Christmas. I said it 5 years ago because one year we had the lockout was the best ratings we ever had. And the reason was we were not competing with college football and the NFL, which are King Kong and King Kong Jr. But I think we need to really be careful because this is the most crazy thing ever happened in my lifetime. We have no idea where this virus is going. Nobody got an idea. So we need to just do what Adam says. Hey, let's don't have any discussion about locking teams away, playing in one city, because what I don't want to happen, we start the NBA playoffs, and God forbid, LeBron, Giannis, James, some of the greatest players we got in the world were to get this virus. You put these guys in a hotel, number one, I don't think they want to be away from their families for 2 months. If you know, Dwyane and all you guys, the playoffs last 2 months. Live in a hotel, they got to worry about what the people who work at the hotel will do. Will they have the virus or not? It's just so many unanswered questions. I think to have all this speculation, I think it just, I hate it, to be honest with you. Let's just wait and see how this thing plays out.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying there, Chuck. I mean, but I do think, you have to investigate every possible scenario at this point, just so you're not all of a sudden saying, oh, the medical officials say it's okay now. Oh, we really haven't thought about what we're going to do. I think they're throwing a lot of stuff off against the wall to see what sticks and say, hey, is this a viable option? I do know this in my heart of hearts is that unless you are absolutely positively sure that you are out of the woods as far as this goes and nobody else risks their health to be part of this, if you are not totally certain that you're in a safe place, then you can't do it. As much as I love the league, I would say, okay, it's gonna go down to the record books as 2020 as a year that there was no champion. I'd be willing to see that happen if it serves that greater good. Isaiah?
Ernie, can I ask these three guys a question?
Yeah.
How would you guys feel about playing a basketball game with no fans?
Oh, I've done that many a times. I play for the love of the game, and it don't matter if a fan is there or not. Long as I have an opponent, I'm good.
I mean, obviously, I think we all can play the game of basketball, anywhere, especially, when you're physically fit and able to do that. But it is something about smelling the popcorn in the arena, it's something about hearing the roar of the crowd. It brings a different kind of intensity. It brings a different kind of passion to the game. Can you play it without fans? Of course you can. But is it going to be different? It's going to be way different.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I could play without the fans there, and I've even thought of, how the practices got tough when you can really hear what guys say, or I think you'll be more vulnerable without the fans there. The fact that you can really see who's getting picked on defensively, who they're going after, what's going on. So I think the games actually might be better. But to Chuck's point, I wouldn't want to spend the night in the hotel worrying about room service or I remember when we played against Kobe in Sacramento, the fact that maybe somebody gave him a bad hamburger and the fact that, he had a stomach virus before the game. Yeah. And so just worrying about, that from other.
So, Chris, did you send that burger up to his room?
I'll tell you this, as I told Kobe, I don't know what happened, but that day I was not mad at the dude that gave him that burger. But Kobe still came out and did his thing.
Isaiah, you wanted to go bigger picture? What's on your mind?
Yeah, when you look at the role that sport plays with society, there's a public trust that comes along with that. And while we may feel that it's necessary for us to lead and be the first one out, you can lead by also saying, let's wait and let's be certain, as opposed to being the first one off the boat. At one point in time, they were saying you can have a gathering of 10 people. And then it went to, okay, you can only have 5. And then it went to, shelter in place, nobody get out. So rolling it back out, you may have to roll it out the same way. Maybe in a restaurant, you can only have 15 to 20 people, 50 people, 30 people. But when you bring sport in, sport has a way of bringing the masses together. And you're talking about people being comfortable in an environment of 20, 30, sometimes 40,000 people in one place. And that trust needs to be necessary. And it needs to come in stages, I think, for society to be comfortable with moving out. And sport has a responsibility, in my opinion, to make sure that when you're going to put 30 to 40, 50,000 people in a space, you have to be the leader in terms of saying there is certainty that we're going to be able to handle this right.
No, I'm totally with you, and it's a point so well taken about leadership. And obviously, the NBA was the leader when it came time to say we're not going to play games. We're suspending our league, and then you saw the other sports and March Madness follow suit. But I really do like the point you make about leadership doesn't mean you have to be first to go back. Sometimes leadership means taking the wise approach. And we'll see what that entails. Guys, great discussion. And Chris, thanks for kind of taking us down that path. We have much more to talk about here on our NBA TV, Open Court at Home. Do want to go to break, saluting some more friends and family of Turner employees who are putting themselves out there on a daily basis. One of our editors, Vicki Conley, has a friend, Brooke Thompson, an ER physician in Flint, Michigan. Steve Quintana, executive producer at NBA.com. His sister Laura works on the front lines in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Alex Wells, a producer with our creative services unit. Her sister-in-law, Amanda Collier, is an RN in Austell, Georgia. Lauren Christopher, associate operations manager for Bleacher Report. Sister Mary Cole Christopher is an RN at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Reginald King, production assistant. His good friend, A. Joy Jones, a pharmacist in Macon, Georgia. Jeff Paris, graphics producer on the NBA on TNT. His wife, Sabrina, works in the Indiana University Health Methodist Emergency Room. Mike Wolfson, developer on March Madness Live. His cousin Bram Dolcourt, an emergency room doctor in Detroit. And Akil Butler, senior project manager with NBA Digital. Brother-in-law Dr. Alan L. Butler works at Long Island Jewish Hospital in New York.
The league is in a very good place.
How many shots are you able to get up in the course of a day now while you wait to see when and if play resumes?
Man, I got a court outside my house. And I've kind of shot around out there, just messing around a little bit. But as far as like a real workout on the court and like in a real gym, I haven't shot a ball since they told us we couldn't go into our facility, like whatever the date was behind that, because they're not allowing us to go into our team facilities, no third party facility. They pretty much got us on lockdown. So, other than shooting outside on my hoop outside, I haven't been getting shots up. I just got my fitness center at my house that, fortunate for me, I built that out. Right. So I can do conditioning and lift and steam room and all that stuff. So other than that, as far as the ball, we don't have option.
Back here on Open Court at Home on NBA TV, Ernie Johnson along with D. Wade, Chris Webber, Isaiah Thomas, Charles Barkley. You heard Damian Lillard talk about the fact that he hasn't gotten many shots up, has been working out, but not shooting the ball very much. Chuckster, how long would it take you to be ready to play ball again if you got the go-ahead?
Well, I think you're probably going to have a minimum of a week, more than likely 2, without rushing. I'm surprised these guys aren't getting up shots. That should be the one thing they do every single day. The notion that these guys aren't working out, that's what's going to be the difference of who wins the championship. I really believe that, Ernie. Hey, I'd bet my life LeBron James is working out every single day. Bet my life on that. I guarantee you he is. I would recommend for Dame and Giannis, get in the gym, man. Get in the gym. Because this thing is going to hit, and it's going to hit quickly.
Isaiah, how long did it take you?
I kind of went through something similar to this. In 91, I had wrist surgery. And I had wrist surgery in January. And I didn't come back until May, really like the start of the playoffs. And what I was able to do is just physically try to stay in shape stamina-wise. But I couldn't shoot a basketball, and, it had a dramatic impact on the way that I performed. If you don't shoot the basketball for, 30, 40 days, it's definitely going to affect your touch. The only guy who may not have a problem is Steph Curry. But everybody else who's not touching the basketball, they're going to have a problem when it comes to shooting.
D, one of the things that Dame told me, he said, hey, look, when they first come back, there's going to be some ugly basketball.
Nasty.
You agree?
it's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of nasty games whenever we do come back. But we went through lockouts, and you're not able to get into any facilities. So I understand why maybe a few guys right now are not in the gym from the standpoint of shooting basketballs. But what they can do until everyone get more confident that you can get out and start doing more things is definitely stay in physical condition.
Check up. Right back. Get those squats in.
Teams like I know the Miami Heat are doing, team Zoom workouts. And I'm sure certain leaders, we mentioned LeBron, I'm sure certain leaders are on their teammates, on their guys about making sure that they're staying in as much shape as possible.
For me, if we do get back to basketball, this is after the ugly stage that D-Wade mentioned that we're definitely going to go through. I think we would see some beautiful basketball because has LeBron James ever been this rested in his career? And if the answer is no, then that means some people would be in trouble. Is AD healthy? We always, or the media says that, James Harden breaks down in the playoff. Well, guess what? He would be fresh. What about Embiid and the injuries that he has or other players? So what I look at too is after that ugly basketball, the most important thing to do, as you asked, EJ, right now is to shoot. But we would have guys that are fresh, frustrated, passionate, and can't wait to get back out there. And to me, that's the perfect storm.
Kenny Smith brought up an idea.
Worst idea ever.
Okay, you already shot it down, but let me throw it out there to the other three. He wanted kind of an NCAA tournament type of feel where it was you just get knocked out. It was just like top seed, 30 seed, and OKC automatically not liking it. He said, look, he said if we're already in the midst of something that we've never been through before, why not just take it to the next step and say, okay, we're going to do this?
Hey, listen, nobody want to see the Sacramento Kings against New York Knicks in the finals in a one game.
Don't make it personal, Chuck. Come on.
No, it's not personal.
I'm just messing.
These guys have played 70 games, and Kenny want to make it a March Madness, a single elimination.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But that's Kenny. He's crazy.
How about it, Dwayne?
Listen, it's all crazy. Everything we're going through crazy. I think for me, anything besides Elmo and Wheels on the Bus go round and round and the ABCs, like I'll watch anything right now. So any one of these tournaments work. Oh yeah, Baby Shark, all that. So anything besides that, I'd sit in front of the TV and watch it at least.
Yeah. Can you possibly? Okay, then draw me up a look at the playoffs. If indeed we get back to playing basketball, can we do the playoffs like we've done the playoffs? Are we going to have to streamline it somewhat because obviously it's going to be past the time that we would normally, be done with the season, Chris?
Yeah, I think so. That's why if we don't, maybe we should have let it affect next season in a positive way by starting the season later, because if we do and if we don't streamline it, then what about the actual rest that players are used to and the recuperate, to be able to recuperate and things like that during that summertime? So I think you are going to have to streamline it. It probably won't be fair. That's why I don't like the tournament of 30 teams, because you could have a freak injury and then the team that wins 20 games out the playoff may win. And I just don't like that being in line with the past champions. So EJ, that's why, to your point earlier, you have to throw so many things against the wall to see what sticks and just be prepared for every situation, even if it's just conjecture, because once you get the green light, you're going to have to hit the ground running, and you're going to have to streamline it, maybe even to just the top 6 teams in each conference. That wouldn't be fair either, but something's going to happen.
And I think instead of having 7-game series, the maybe the first round is a old school three gamer.
2 out of 3.
And best 2 out of 3, and then you move on. But you don't have any more than 5-game series. You don't never have a 7-gamer.
Something that Dwayne said moments ago. Got to watch something other than the wheels of the bus go round and round. Our thirst and our starvation to watch actual competition. this has just accentuated that unbelievably, that you just can't watch. Maybe you do want to watch some old games that were played, but nothing replaces turning something on, having no idea how it's going to turn out, and watching the best compete. That's what we want to do, Flash.
Look, Ernie, me watching old games of myself and old highlights got me on the injury reserve at home right now. It made me feel like I could still do some of those things. Look at me, I want it. Look, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Oh, you cut me off? Okay, spin back the other way. Okay, drop it. Walk up. Wow. Get buckets number 3. I'm tired of watching myself and watching these old highlights. I think we all, are at this point where, we will love, but, definitely understanding that even though we have a thirst for the competition, what we're dealing with in society is something that's so unprecedented that we have to have, the patience to go through the process and really, and I said this other day, is everyone has to play team basketball. Everyone in the world has to play together as a team right now. So as much as we thirst for it, I'll watch a few more episodes of Wheels on a Bus just to make sure that everyone comes out of this on the healthy side of it.
Isn't it amazing kind of how maybe familiarity brings content? The fact that LeBron's doing this in his 17th season and you have people that, don't want to give him the credit maybe that they did before. And now it's just been interesting to me, kind of the narrative of sports, of how maybe some of my friends maybe took, just players or teams for granted. And now we're the same ones clamoring back for the sport. And whenever we do get back, I think you'll see an appreciation from the players that we haven't seen in a long time, and also from the fans.
Yeah, no question, C. Webb. And as strange as it sounded to fans out there, the idea that games might be played with no fans in the stands, and how could you watch that? Right now, I would watch a Washington Wizards inter-squad game right now with not a soul in the building if it were live and you didn't know how it was going to turn out. And we're going to take a break. We'll come back and wrap it up in just a second. But as we go to break, some more of the Turner personnel whose friends and family are serving in this fight. Senior Vice President of Talent Services, Tara August. Her friend, Dr. Akin Ogundupe, is a nephrologist in Atlanta. Franklin Cow, Turner Sports Associate Director, his wife, Leslie Ann, General Surgery Resident at Grady Memorial Hospital. Yang Adija, Vice President of Strategy for NBA Digital. His sister, Dr. Akini Adija, is a doctor at Primus Wound Care. Emily Antworth, Project Manager at NBA Digital. Mother Sally Davis and Father John are paramedics at Leon County EMS. Becca Curley, Turner Sports Associate Production Manager. Best friend Morgan Payton is a patient care technician at Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center. Chris Nelson, Turner Sports Associate Director. His wife Kate works at Children's Health Care of Atlanta. Yvette Lopez, Public Relations Director. Wife, Dr. Kelsey Freeman, works at the Grady Hospital Pharmacy. Her sister, Dr. Megan Freeman, on the right, works at Northside Hospital. And Moni Shah, the senior director, Latanya, who's a nurse in Georgia, a cousin Katrina in Chicago. Jeff Randolph, Turner Sports producer. His good friend Jeff Foster works with Grady Health System. Morgan Allison, a production assistant. Her brother-in-law, Jason Furlong, working for the U.S. Postal Service. Gaurav Malik, Senior Director for Strategy and Business Operations. Wife, Julia Samadar, a doctor at Emory University Hospital. Hanya Poole, the Senior Vice President of NCAA Digital. Sister, Rima Jarrah, is an MD at Brenner Children's Hospital. Eric Vandervoort, manager of BR Live. Wife Caitlin is a registered nurse at Emory University Hospital. Associate producer Quan Thomas. Best friend Zora Johnson is a nurse at the Medical University of South Carolina. And Tony Moriali, a senior manager in public relations. His wife Natalie is an emergency room nurse at Children's Health Care of Atlanta. And this is an amazing story as we bring you back. She is headed to New York for the next 6 weeks. She and Tony are the parents of 3, and she has volunteered to go to New York to work in the ER and intensive care unit for the next 6 weeks. That is amazing. That is beyond amazing in these circumstances, in these times, that this wife and mother of three says that for these next 6 weeks, this is where I need to be.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to all the first responders, all the nurses, and all the doctors. What they're doing is amazing. You know, normally, unless you're a cop or a firefighter, you don't go to work to risk your life. But these men and women they're on the front lines this virus. And also, I started a fund in Alabama called the Alabama Hospitality Fund. We're raising money for everybody who's out of work where they can borrow money. We're up over $100,000 already. So if you get a chance to check out the Alabama Hospitality Fund, take a look at it. All the money, 100% of the profits go to the workers. They get to borrow money against the fund. So thanks to everybody who's involved with that. But thanks to all the first responder nurses and doctors and everybody who's laid off or in the hospitality field.
Good on you, Chuck. Well done. Isaiah, your parting thought today.
Well, my parting thought, my deepest sympathies and condolences go to, those who have lost family members, loved ones, and, and to the healthcare workers, the doctors, the nurses, the volunteers, when they took an oath to save lives, they didn't necessarily take the oath to risk their lives. And where they are now in the amount of courage and strength and just inspiration that they're daily showing, I don't know if I've ever seen a time in this country where one segment of the population has stood so tall in these stressful times and been so inspirational to us all. So thank you to all the health workers.
Chris Weber.
I also want to send a shout out not only to the first responders and others, but also to those that don't have a choice, to those that are working inside of convenience stores or gas stations, to those that are working inside of grocery stores so that we have some place to go get food, to the person just passing by and sees an old couple in the car that are afraid to go in and get groceries, and you take their $100 through the window and you go shopping for him. To all the heroes that your stats aren't being shown, to all the people that we don't see what you're doing, God knows your heart, and it is encouraging and inspiring what you're doing, and please continue to keep doing it.
C. Webb, that is absolutely awesome. D. Wade, you got the last word, my friend.
C. Webb covered it all. I think the heroics of our healthcare workers, of our first responders, everyone that C. Webb mentioned, that's where, we should tip our heads to. That's where coming out of this even when you're a parent now and you're being around your kids all day, every day, teachers, give them more love, give them more praise. I definitely wanted to send some and shed a spotlight on the medical providers. And me and my family are supportive of addressing the needs of the LGBTQ community. Health equality is a big issue, in the LGBT community, and many times the LGBT community focused providers are overlooked, and they do not receive the additional funding resources at a time of crisis. So, this is the time where, you can do good, for the world.
Thank you for that, D. Wade, and all four of you guys know better than I do the value of teamwork, the necessity of teamwork in the sport that we cover these days, in which you guys all played at the highest level. So thank you much for sharing your hearts today, and we are all in this together. And I would just hope, look, when you wake up tomorrow morning, you're watching the show, you wake up tomorrow morning, just say, how can I make somebody else's day better? How can I make somebody else's life better? How can I help somebody who's struggling more than I am at this point in this unprecedented time in our history? And here we speak on the Easter season, and what that's always meant to me is hope. And we all have that. So keep the faith. Love you all, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.